Hello again, everybody. This is Jimmy. You're reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Chapter 7, The Mad Tea Party. This is the analysis of pages 80 and 81. Welcome. We left off with the Hatter last time telling a story of how he recited a poem when the Queen bawled out, "He's murdering time, off with his head." If you remember, that was a big discussion we had about time and how relative time is. Page 80 and 81, it starts out Alice exclaiming how dreadfully savage. Savage is the word we saw before. It's, savage is really, it's mean. And the Hatter, and ever since that, said the Hatter, it went on mournfully, he won't do a thing I ask. He, who's he? Time. It's always 6 o'clock. Can you imagine if it's always 6 o'clock? If you're on Mercury and you're revolving around the sun, it's always 6 o'clock because the Mercury doesn't turn. It doesn't turn to day and night. So it's always 6 o'clock. Would that be good or bad? I wonder. A bright idea came into Alice's head. Remember, this is a thoughtful young lady. She's learning about herself and about the people around her and creatures. Is that the reason so many tea things are put out here? She asked. You see what I'm saying? She's in this environment. She landed here at the March Hare's house where there's this tea party going on, and the whole table is laid out with tea things only, even though when she got there, she was offered wine, and there is no wine. And so now she's finding out through this story that the Hatter's saying that, it's always 6 o'clock because he time won't do anything more for him. So it's always 6. And so she's guessing now. She's figuring things out. She says, is that why the tea things are here? Yes, that's it, said the Hatter with a sigh. It's always tea time. And so we've no time to wash these things between whiles, in between times. It's always tea time, so we can't wash them. We're always having tea. Well, then you keep moving around, I suppose, said Alice. Exactly, as things get used up. She's got it. By Jove, she's got it. But then she goes, what happens when you come to the beginning again? Alice ventured to ask. Suppose we change the subject, the March Hare interrupted, yawning. This is getting boring. I'm getting tired of this. I vote the young lady tell us a story. So now suddenly his back is against the wall. He changes the subject. But what do you think would happen when they run out of dishes and they came around again? I'm not saying anything. But Einstein said that if you start, and time and space are relative, and if you start walking, you'll end up in the same place eventually, right? That's exactly what this concept of the tea party is. It's a table full of tea. They keep moving around, and they just keep moving around the same place, going around and around in a circle. But now he's getting bored, and he wants to change the subject. He wants to hear a story. And she says, I'm afraid she's afraid here. I'm afraid I don't know one. Rather alarmed at the proposal. She's put on the spot. And then the dormouse shell, they both cried. They both cried. Who's they? Who's they? I wonder who they is. They. Can you tell me who they are? Yes. The Hatter and the March Hare. Certainly wasn't Alice. Wake up, Dormouse. And they pinched it on both sides at once. The poor mouse. They're pinching it. There's another story we're going to read in the future by Gaudi Maupassant. It's called The Matter with Andre. I don't want to tip you off to it, but it's going to be in the library that Jimmy reads to you. So they pinched this dormouse, and the dormouse slowly opened its eyes. I wasn't asleep, he said it in a hoarse, feeble voice. I heard every word you fellows were saying. Tell us a story, said the March Hare. And Alice joins in. Yes, please do. She pleads with him. And be quick about it, said the Hatter, or you'll be asleep again before it's done. Be quick about it. Quick is a time word, isn't it? I thought he doesn't talk the time. Once upon a time, there's that time word again. There were three little sisters, the Dormouse began, in a great hurry. Why is he in a hurry? Time again, right? Time. Why is he in a hurry? Because if he doesn't start talking in a hurry, he's going to fall asleep, just like that. This Dormouse sleeps a lot. And their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly. And they lived at the bottom of a well. There's a hyphen, long hyphen. But before we go to the next page, 81, I want you to think about the concept. Stories are important in this story. Why? Well, as you think about the stories we've been hearing, you saw the mouse tell a story. Everybody's telling stories because they weave the experience and they enhance the experience that Alice is going on, right? So now we're hearing a story about three sisters. Alice asks, what did they live on at the top of page 81? Who always took a great interest in questions of eating and drinking. Alice always took a great interest. Why? Well, she's a young girl. She's probably hungry a lot. She hasn't eaten anything in a while here. So she's what did they live on? They lived on treacle, said the Dormouse, after thinking a minute or two. So he didn't answer right away. He thought about it. And then he said, they lived on treacle. What's treacle? I defined it for you here. Don't laugh. It's uncrystallized syrup made during the refining of sugar. The most common form are golden syrup of pale variety and black treacle, a darker like molasses. Black treacle has a distinctively strong, slightly bitter flavor, richer color than golden syrup. So it's kind of like molasses, refined sugar, syrup, not maple syrup, but syrup. They couldn't have done that, Alice remarked gently. They'd have been ill. If that's all they ate was treacle, they would have been very ill. Alice tried to fancy to herself what such an extraordinary way of living could be like. Now, why is she doing this? Why is she taking this so seriously? Well, because she's learning. When you're learning, you're listening. You're trying to make sense out of what you're being told. And the Dormouse says treacle. And that's syrup. She knows what it is. You and I may not know what it is, because I don't remember the last time I ate molasses, but you do cook with molasses, or your parents do, or whatever, right? So it's a syrup of refined sugar. And you can't just eat sugar, right? It's not a good thing. So she's trying to figure out what this is possible, but it puzzled her too much. So she went on. But why did they live at the bottom of a well? Take some more tea, the March Hare says to Alice very earnestly. You need more tea. You're thinking too much. Have some more tea. If you've ever Jimmy's been at a dinner sometimes where you start talking like that and somebody will say, have some more. I've had nothing yet, Alice replied in an offended tone, so I can't take more. She hasn't drinking anything yet, right? So she can't take more. I've had nothing yet. You mean you can't take less? Said the Hatter. This Hatter is a smarty pants, isn't he? He's smarty pants. Look, you can't. She's saying I can't take more because I have nothing. I have nothing. I can't take more. And the Hatter corrects her. He says, you mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing. Now, isn't that the truth? If you have nothing, sometimes when you're reading sales reports for companies, right, they double their sales. Well, when you sell one thing and you sell two things, you've doubled your sales. You got to be careful what you're reading. Nobody asked your opinion, said Alice. Who's making personal remarks now, said the Hatter triumphantly. See, you're making it personal. Alice did not quite know what to say to this, so she helped herself to some tea and bread and butter. Finally. And then she turns to the dormouse and repeated her question. Why do they live at the bottom of a well? So she ate a little bit, drank a little tea, and she still wants to know why they were on. The dormouse took a minute or two to think. I'm taking a minute or two, right? And then he says, it was a truckle well. There's no such thing, Alice says, and beginning very angrily, there's no such thing. In other words, you're making all this stuff up. But they had her in the March chair, went on, shh. And the dormouse sulkily remarked, he's slow. If you can't be civil, you better finish the story for yourself. Civil. If you can't be polite, remember civility? If you can't be polite, finish the story yourself. No, please, Alice says, humbly. She's humbled again. Okay, I'm being a brat, right? I'm trying to tell. It's his story. It's his story, not my story. She says humbly, I won't interrupt you again. I dare say there may be one. One indeed, said the dormouse indignantly. However, he consented to go on. What a great couple of pages in this chapter for a mad tea party, isn't it? So we've got Alice now listening to a story by the dormouse, who seems to be making it up as he goes, because he's always sleeping. Maybe he's dreaming. But in any case, they had her again sticks his nose in there and tells her, you can't make more if you don't have anything, right? Right? But in any case, this is Jimmy. You're reading with Jimmy. My email is jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com, jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. And look forward to seeing you for the next couple of pages, which will wrap up Chapter 7. Thanks. Talk to you soon.